Okay, hi everyone. Everyone, I don't know, I probably got an update or something. So I just thought I'd throw something up. No one's going to show up. It's just an interruption. Could be all kinds of things, someone having an issue or a robot having an issue with something. I don't know. Thank you, Shannon Thomas, for coming in early. I believe it's Shannon Thomas Trucking. Made her a moderator, my first moderator. There you go. Uh, so yeah, basically the other thing was I see you now. The other thing was just kind of throwing some pictures up, just vlogging a little bit. Let's see if I can talk and type at the same time. I I hope the title is good. Social. Social. I hope it makes sense. But so yeah, I'm showing my incompetence uh, with the whole computer. Either either they, I don't know, YouTube or whatever, uh, might have something in there. That picture that I uploaded as a thumbnail, and so I was just going to say, hi to and put those at the different channels to see whether or not um, their algorithm actually directs something somewhere. It's all the same stuff, really. You know, shouldn't be too difficult to figure out. I'm just actually verbalizing it where others may not think it's important to share how to connect up all these social algorithm words and, all these Google words. And hopefully, I'm not going to get in trouble with any of those things. Uh, the assistant thing just popped up on the phone. So, yeah, I just got to find the right pathway. It's kind of like finding the right word. Uh, so, yeah, thank you, Shannon. I'm not sure where to find it yet. I'm still learning. Um, I'm here in West Virginia. Also, what could be creating an issue? I don't know. There seems to be, I'll just say, National Guard at this point, uh, all walking around all over the place here. And I don't see their vehicles. I'm in the hills and mountains, so they could be parked somewhere else, but they're walking all around and I don't see their vehicles. So maybe they're playing their game or something on the weekend. But yeah, so I'm not inciting anything. I'm not trying to show anything other than what's going on around me. So on my 34-hour, uh, I'll throw out the DIY semi. I met him. Uh, that's why I wanted to show that. Um, I also remember the Just Trucking Live um, that I took a picture. I don't know if it's gone out there yet on the channel of a sticker that I believe was his sticker. And I believe I remember watching it, the live that he had. So, an Asian Mai used to be, or the mother trucker used to be uh, live more often, I believe. So I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with them not going live as often, but it might be bigger and harder to manage once things reach a certain level. So there's nothing wrong there. I just thought I'd share those things that I remember. Nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, uh, unless there's something that I don't know about on the monetization or tag words, because we are all forced, generally speaking, into signing, accept, give your soul away or whatever. I don't know, to the devil or whatever. So they force you to do that. And on one side of the argument is we're just trying to protect ourselves, and we'll be good stewards of people's rights and things. And then you find out later, not so much. Somebody somewhere gets in there and says, let's exploit this because it's good for the whatever, you know, whatever platform. And it's like, oh, let's have an argument about it, in the back office or whatever. Let's see if this is ethically okay. And then everybody group thinks and says, oh, yeah, we don't want to get fired, so we agree. That's kind of my thoughts on how some of that happens. But I'm not suggesting, maybe I'm pessimistic there. But, you know, uh, maybe I've seen some things that have led me to believe those things. So, yeah, I'm sitting here on my 34-hour. Just glad that someone popped in. I'm not sure. Uh, let's see how I can use all this stuff. So yeah, hey, I almost pronounced the name wrong, but there's a, I don't know, maybe the person is changing his little, and I say his because I think someone's called this person Don Schlonger, but I don't think that's right either. I think it's Don Schonger. So how's it going? Thank you for attending. I don't know if these are, jokes and just lighthearted things so that we can all just have a little bit of something to do. But I have been trying to work on providing a couple little videos of things that I'm doing, little more or less cheap things that us owner operators, motor carriers can use to the benefit of our company, a little spreadsheet. And you can share those things. If, let's say, if you do have a company larger than one person, you can share across multiple people if you open that up for sharing. It's one of those things that I've been exposed to, a long time ago, but doesn't really matter how long ago it has been, as long as the tool's good or if it suits the need. So yeah, I think Killian's Trucking subscribed, and I just left him a notification. There are some subscribers that I guess are probably the monitors that I'm not allowed to see who they are, or people don't want to share that publicly. There are so many settings that I'm just going with, just understanding that essentially I have no control. I mean, uh, because those organizations can control anything they want to. Um, but yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Got a couple people in here. Glad I'm not on StreamYard. I can't invite anybody in. This is just very, very early. And hopefully I'll be able to grow a little bit in this industry. A little bit of backstory. I, I'm this person that went to college right out of high school, played football. We won our conference that year, uh, and I was exposed to a lot of things. And first generation low income student, and the place that I went was very expensive, maybe close to a private school. I don't know. And so, anyway, when I went there, my dad's company closed during that time, created a lot of disruption. I'm not saying that it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's my family's fault. I'm not saying anyone is at fault, but those things happen. And I don't know if I was getting kicked out of a dorm, without my parents telling me. I don't know. So I'm sure there were some things going on that I didn't know anything about. And then my parents maybe thought that I was eligible for food stamps and things like maybe they knew was available. But then I tried to do that. And then I was told, oh, you're in college. You're not eligible for food stamps. I'm like, what? Okay, how does that work? So this is, and I have to make it clear because each state is different and how their programs run. So um, in the state of Indiana, if I was a full-time college student, I'm not eligible for food stamps. So that's kind of a big surprise, but that's true. So there were some struggles going on at the time. So I don't know, So I'm just trying to share a little bit on that stuff. So I left, right? Um, Ended up leaving after a year. Well, I could go back. I was basically said I could go back. So later in life, life happens. I got to do all this stuff. So and then 2008, 9 happened, and I can't find a job. I can't nothing. So I'm like, I'm going to go back to school this time. I don't want to lose my house and all that stuff that I worked hard to get a mortgage for and all that. Well, so I go back to school. I'm on unemployment, and this time I'm going to figure it out. So I went back there and gave myself a semester to figure things out. And hi, Edgewood. I can't remember the name, but I recognize the face. Um, Thanks for coming in. And so yeah, that's what I went back around 2008, 9, something like that. And so um, I figured it all out. Basically, I was an independent student, and there was no way for me to be able to make it through that undergraduate degree by myself. So it was just, unfeasible. So after a semester, after learning all that stuff, um, I decided it was in my best interest to just go to the local community college. And if I would not have been on unemployment uh, at the time, I would not have been able to make it through the semester. So basically, all my funds went to make sure I was in school. So anyway, I left there, and yeah, I can't remember if it's Dottie. I don't think it's Doty, but it might be. It could be. Could very well be. How's it going? Thank you, Shannon. Um, so that process there left me going to a community college. I went there, graduated, Phi Theta Kappa, Honor Society, all that stuff, and then and then from there, I basically couldn't find a job. That's all I was doing, was because everybody said that education is a requirement to be able to even access the position. So I got that associate degree. And after I got that, I couldn't find a job. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just moving on to the 4 year degree. Uh, did that, uh, Dean's List, all that good stuff, bachelor's economics, bachelor arts economics. The associate degree was general studies. Um, and then went ahead and applied for health economics PhD program as a bachelor, uh, only having a bachelor's degree. I was allowed to, so I did. They only had one PhD program opening, and I'm just going to say I got out competed, just generally speaking. um, I was just looking for a job, trying to get myself into a good job or career, because I'm not allowed to say job. I'm supposed to say career. Um, that's when Obama Care was, all these people were interested in hearing about struggles of individuals, and I identified as one of those individuals because I had no money, no health care, nothing, So it was enlightening for some people to hear that perspective. Well, so anyway, I got out competed, so I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to find a career, and so I couldn't find anything. Couldn't even get I was eligible for work study. I couldn't even get a work study position all along. I'm like, what is wrong with me not being able to access some of these things? So none of that was available. Positions open, they just didn't hire me. Uh, and and then so I applied and got into a master's program. Uh, you know, um, Master's of Business Administration. I concentrated in global supply chain management, Six Sigma Yellow Belt certification, all these things, and couldn't find a job, couldn't find a career. So here I am left with all that good stuff, and go get $12 an hour job as a general warehouse associate. I thought I might be aligning myself up appropriately to, you know, move up in the company. Same stuff, you know. Uh, they hire and promote from within, and all these things that they tell you in recruiting, similar to the truck drivers, right? Make $1 billion in a month, All you got to do is get your Class A CDL. Well, that's not fun to hear and be disappointed over and over again. So anyway, two positions came available. They were growing. They had a supervision position and a management position. I was fully qualified for all of it. Uh, this and that and whatever. So they didn't even interview me, and they hired two people outside of the company. So I knew something somewhere is wrong. So uh, regardless of what that is, I went and I got my Class A CDL. I drove cement mixers before, and that's pretty much it. Um, I used to have a Class B and then let it expire because, all the promise of all this education. I don't need a CDL anymore, right? So I let my physical expire. I didn't care, because it makes no difference, right? Because I won't need it. Wrong. So I got my Class A this time instead of my B, and just trucking, and or just trucking, if that. Yeah. So yeah, you can see how difficult it's been or whatever. So That's a little bit of background. So that's why I'm shouting out or letting people know that I've listened to their uh, YouTubes along the way. I generally listen in. Um, I have a bunch of subscriptions, and sometimes I don't listen to as many as I should, um, or I don't have time for it. So that's what's going on with me. And if anybody identifies with it, you know, I'd like to hear some about that too, because I know I'm not the only one, but it'd be interesting to know whether or not our current state of, I'll say, union, because the president says State of the Union, like the whole thing. Are we really in that bad of shape, or are there um, particulars that uh, are influencing people around me? Let's just say that. Um, yeah, because it's difficult to know exactly what is happening right now. So yeah, persistence pays off. That's true. I see Dodie. Okay, I see Dodie there. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what the questions are there, because the being a sacker, at a grocery store, it's disheartening, discouraging, to be led to believe something is more valuable than it is. And I interviewed at the U.S. Department of State in Washington D.C. I was offered a position to teach English in China. Um, I applied to Halliburton to go to Africa, the continent of Africa, and Angola. Um, some other things that I applied for. Oh yeah, I have been to the CIA.gov website, so that's funny. But so if I was a clandestine CIA recruit, I'm over 24 now, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so an army thing, and there was this, that, and the other, and you know, who knows? Let's just put it that way, because I'm nowhere near any of those things. So ni hao, ni shuo zhongwen ma bu ji dao. That's a little bit of Chinese for you that I learned at the Confucius Institute at Indiana University. Um, if no one knows this, that school, not only at Indiana University, in the whole country, uh, if my understanding is correct, has been disallowed in the country. So, um, for what reason? I don't know. But they don't, or they didn't, they got rid of them. So, yeah, might have been something to do with, stealing intellectual property or violating some of the norms in the U.S. So it's geopolitical stuff like that. So, hola, tu hablas español? No sé, do you speak Spanish? So, anyway, the one language that I didn't, I had to pick between Chinese and or Chinese and Arabic, because that would have led me into getting like a half of a check mark positive thing on my application. If I spoke difficult languages, languages of need for the U.S., like Chinese and Arabic. Uh, so yeah, that's when Benghazi happened as well. Good stuff to know, right? Um, so yeah, applied for the United Nations position. I think it's Addis Ababa, in Africa. Human rights and all this stuff. So uh, just trying to learn because the economics tells you there's a Gini coefficient, and that Gini coefficient is income inequality. Telling because I came from first generation low income, maybe that's what's good for me to understand better or to share with other people, and maybe they can learn or not. Uh, because let's see, the Federal Reserve had some internships, and so yeah, they had some internships there, and I had to pay for it all to be able to even apply, generally speaking. So I wasn't going to be able to do that. Um, uh, Applied for a couple internships at a couple NFL teams. Uh, Applied for a football analytic coordinator for the Houston Texans. I didn't get a call back. I don't know if that was because I didn't have the computer language skill, or didn't have a uh, R uh, language, I guess, so they can go out and source data on the players, and you know um, whatever that may entail. It might not be that, but they definitely want you to know statistics. So I'm having some trouble here with the connection. So hopefully I won't get disconnected. Uh, but I'm going to keep talking even if this is not working. Looks like I'm still connected, and I think it just dropped all the people. It looks like so something just happened. Um, so I'm still on here. If anyone comes back, let's see here. I'll type something just to see if somebody's here. So I'm just throwing a bunch of information out, trying to share with a couple people that are jumping in, taking the time. Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure. It popped up showing me I had an unstable connection, and uh, wasn't sure wasn't sure what was going on there. So yeah, I thought I'd just share this out there to let people know, um, share with the others that I'm kind of following, listening to, seeing around, kind of in a little group, or something like that. It's like social circle, and it's good to have others around, even if it's virtually. Uh, so, okay, all right, that's good to hear. I'm glad that the connection wasn't completely dropped. Uh, it's showing that my participants, are at one on my end, so it doesn't look like anyone's here on my side. So, yeah. Well, if there are, any questions, feel free to type them in the chat there. I can see it. And it's interesting, or if you want to tell me something, I can't bring anybody in right at the moment because I don't have the StreamYard thing. I guess that's what's required to bring people in. Yeah, we are E-family. There you go. There's Sterling's out there too, deciding to get out early before it's too late or something. I don't know. I'm seeing fuel prices go up. Uh, okay, yeah, you might be able to, Dodie. You might be able to hear the wind, right? Because in Wyoming, you can at least hear the wind, right? Right. That's yeah. It's interesting out there. Yeah, I'm not sure where signal drops out there. I've gone to Salt Lake City from Indiana on I-80 there often. That was my job for almost almost a year maybe. So I was just going back and forth there. I didn't think it was too bad. Drove through a lot of snow, ice, and wind. Um, and yeah, there were a couple times that I had to stop. Elk Mountain, all in that area. Uh, the wind is really bad, so it's like 65 miles an hour. I'm stopping if I'm fully loaded. It's either 25 or 35 miles an hour if I'm empty or light. I'm stopping. I'm not getting blown over. I've seen so many even through Iowa, uh, blown over hot shots and trucks. Semi truck and trailer dry vans. So it's I don't know. It's probably a training thing because I was well informed. I do appreciate that because that was a they make a wind chart, and it's good to find that chart to show when you're in the danger zone, because at any time there can be a gust, that exceeds what generally is going on. Um, so yeah, it's yeah, Shannon. The beet juice, from what I was told, is like thrown in with maybe the sand. They don't use, I guess, salt. I don't know if it's at least less expensive, because I've also heard that's like one of the reasons uh, that Wyoming tries to save on their road or their interstate. But I've heard the beet juice works good for whatever reason, makes it difficult for ice to form something. I didn't study it, but I heard about it, and I believed who told me. And maybe I looked it up. I don't know. Seems right. I don't like to spread information that isn't correct, uh, but I believe that one's true. Uh, so yeah, the okay, yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I know that I know the Echo stopped there. I can't remember if that one's in Utah, but I know it's right as I'm coming out of Utah into. It depends. Yeah, I guess the Echo stop. Maybe it's both ways. Yeah, maybe it is both ways. But I remember the small one more or less going back east, because I had to sleep there at least one night, and it gets very quiet, a little different in the valley when you go through some of those spots. Uh, Interesting, different. Uh, so yeah, I enjoyed doing that. So yeah, I went across all the way to Truckee and down through California, all the way to essentially Mexico. I mean, I have a picture at one point where I took the picture. It said, "If you do not exit this exit, you will be in Mexico," or something like that. So I had to make sure not to go there because there was like a warehouse right there somewhere that I had to deliver to. That was with the company job that I was with. Celadon, if anybody remembers that. And Shannon, if you work at DART, I heard that one of the people went to DART from Celadon. So she would have would be in the office. And then there's someone else that was at Celadon that went to Dart as a owner operator. Yeah. Uh, Trying to remember if there's anyone else that I remember that shared that they went to Dart. So anyway, yeah, that was an interesting time there when all that stuff happened. So yeah, just a persistent, ongoing thing. Now I'm a flatbed. I have some bobcats on right now, and delivering them in West Virginia on Monday. I just paid, or the company paid, or whatever, uh, for a new driver. So that'll be interesting. Um, it's someone I know closely. We're gonna team in the truck and see how that works out and how long it takes to get something else. So that's what's going on with me. I've been really busy on the business side, and yeah, Dodie, I've looked around there. I had a breakdown in uh, the Elk Mountain area there, and I think it's Rollins. There was someone there that I talked to. Well, yeah, the teaming thing though is really the person is basically a family member, so it's not like someone that I don't already know. So that's that's why I'm hoping things will move in a positive direction, and at least there'll be enough understanding in there uh, to allow for the next the next stage or truck, or if it works out great, it works out great. I don't know yet. I don't know, but yeah, that's what's going on. Hopefully, it's kind of funny. Fuel is going up by 50 cents or more a gallon. I think I just saw some outrageous six something in places that normally are five. So I'm like, okay, well, this fuel thing is going to continue to worsen, uh, and so we'll have to address that. And yeah, I do want to share something as well because from what I'm seeing, there are a lot of places that, like always, generally speaking, people are discounting on the trucking side, um, and they seem to side with the brokers a lot. But uh, Dodie, I drive for myself. Um, I worked as a company driver for 2 years and saved everything that I could, and that's how I got into this. Before equipment prices went up, I got the truck, and that was the plan or thought. It was like, okay, well, Celadon closed, so there's going to be some market share available. That means, basically people are going to need services. So if I can slide in when there's that capacity question, then that might be good. Well, it took me a little while to find a truck, right? And I was thinking, well, maybe my opportunity has been missed. And then I found a truck that I was okay with, and I got it. A cash truck, and I knew I was going to let it sit until I got everything formed. So I was working and getting everything formed, and I was looking for a trailer because I wanted to have the trailer and the truck and just kind of go when it was time to go. So kept looking, and then that's when all the disruption happened. And I was thinking, 15,000 for a dry van, that would be probably a really good dry van and this and that and whatever. Well, they went from 15 to like 60,000, and then the reefer. I was just kind of imagining maybe I'd do a reefer, if not dry van, but they doubled that. So it was like they went from 30 or 40 to like 120. It was like crazy. So I kept looking, and I found a flatbed. And so I was like, well, this is going to be the better decision. And uh, well, and so that's what happened. I got the flatbed. Well, right now I don't know what to say about the name on the side of the truck, and the reason why I don't, because I just have a website and all that stuff, and I have another channel that I'm just starting over there, maybe to help with business stuff and continue that. I'm just trying to think. No one's asked me that yet, and I hadn't thought about sharing that yet. On the kind of on the personal side, and a lot of that has to do with um, just making sure that I don't have some ridiculous issue with somebody hunting me down. And if you haven't been hunted down before by, I don't know, extremists, radicals, whatever you want to call people with more time on their hands to cause people problem, whatever you want to call this stuff. It's just like it's like bringing in unwelcomeness. It's like it's just better to keep it that way for now. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to manage that, but um, I'll just put it that way. Yeah, but even if you're a Dodie, if you're a lone wolf, uh, even if you are, it's real simple to get put in a trap. So, uh, so too many things out there, really. And if somebody has a motive or intention because maybe you didn't do something that they wanted you to do, yeah, yeah. I just want to keep it. I just want to keep it this way on this channel for now. And I appreciate the question because it shows a genuine interest in what I'm doing. Um, so I appreciate the question. Uh, yeah, I see you come on with it. Is that are you the Simone Witt? When I add that in there, I don't know. That's a funny one. Um, yeah.